Here we go. Another episode of Outlaw College Football live stream version. This may be the last live stream I do before the football season. I'm still going to do podcasts, but I don't know if I'm going to do too many more live streams. But I wanted to start today with our meme of the day, which I always do, which is a little off topic, but I thought, this would be a pretty funny way to start the show. We've been doing this every live stream here lately, but the meme of the day comes from Rick Birdwell, and it says, "When your kid forgets that they have Gen X parents." Thought that was pretty funny. If my son or daughter had put a nose ring in their nose like that when they were kids, I probably would have done exactly this. What would y'all done? What would y'all done? But thanks, Rick Birdwell, for the meme of the day. Now, getting right to it here. Let's go ahead and get some backdrop for this show real quick. Give y'all a little grilling session backdrop, maybe. See if we can get that going for y'all. No, that's not the one. There it is. All right, there's the grill. Everybody likes that grill. They like that fire in the background because we always like to light the fire up in here, right? Well, today we're going to talk about, surprise, surprise, the damn spastic Sanders family is still in the news. The drama coming from these drama queens, Contam Dion Sanders and Zulu Sanders, a.k.a. Shedeur Sanders, are still in the news today. A fifth-round pick, a player that was second on his own team, picked second on his own NFL team behind Dylan Gabriel. And I'm going to bring up a few articles today about that, as well as talk about the transfer portal and some of the other college football news. And it's an article from CBS where they're talking about who made the best moves in the transfer portal. I'm going to get Killer Breeze to come in here later and touch on that because Oklahoma's mentioned in this article. We're going to talk about Madden Amaleva. So how you say his last name? The brother of Nico is being sued by Arkansas. More power to Arkansas. I'm glad to see that happening for a change. And then we'll just let y'all steer the show whichever way you want to go, right? Let's see who already in here. We got Kevron Harris in the house. He was the first batter up today. Kevron Harris says he will be out prior to the start of the 2025 NFL season. Hey, I assume you're talking about Shedeur Sanders. Yes, there is rumors that he's probably going to be cut because most fifth-rounders don't make it. Now, while Tom Brady did tutor this guy and Tom Brady was taken in the fifth round, and people might draw comparisons to that, Tom Brady stories don't happen every day. That's why there's something amazing about the Tom Brady story. Most fifth-round picks don't make it past camp. They get cut. He probably won't be getting cut, I don't think, because of who he is and the uproar that it may cause. But if he does get cut, it's probably because he deserved to get cut and none of this other bullshit out there that people have been playing. All the race card bullshit. And when in reality, it's really reverse racism. People talking all that smack about Jackson Dart getting drafted before him, and Dylan Gabriel got drafted before him on his own team, and they automatically assume it's racism because Jackson Dart's white. Well, actually, that's reverse racism because you're judging Jackson Dart by his skin color. You're saying the only reason he was picked because he was white, not because of his talent. So it means you're judging him by his skin color. You see what I'm saying? Y'all don't want to hear that, though, right? But yeah, that's basically racism when y'all judge Jackson Dart as such. And the race card don't play very well in this. People that say it look completely and utterly stupid, for lack of a better term. I would gander to say out of the hundreds of draft picks this past weekend that I would say 80% are blacks or minorities. So, I'm just not buying it, man. I'm just not buying it. All right, let's see who else is in here. Jalen Hurts needs to be grilled for not going to the White House, says Thunder OU Sooner. Glad you brought that up because I almost forgot about it. Thunder OU Sooner, by the way, almost has perfect attendance in here. He's the most attending listener of all time. Thunder OU Sooner, I completely agree. Jalen Hurts played for my team and your team. But when he was here at Alabama, there were some issues. His mother was somewhat of a race baiter. If Jalen Hurts wasn't getting his way or she didn't think he was getting treated fairly, she automatically played the race card. That's why when he went to Oklahoma, it did not hurt our feelings because they played the race card on us starting Tua Tagovailoa, who won the national championship game. I mean, how much better can that get? How much more can be in the starter be qualified for than win the national title? And plus, Tua Tagovailoa is not white. He's actually more of a minority than Jalen Hurts. So I've never been a big fan of Jalen Hurts. I just ain't come out and said it because I don't want to stir up the pot too much and piss a bunch of people off at Oklahoma or my team, Alabama, because there's a lot of people that straight up Jalen Hurts' ass nonstop. Jalen Hurts, while he's a decent quarterback and he won a Super Bowl, he won that Super Bowl with a team that was stacked for him. It was not a quarterback to me. I know he was the MVP, but it was not a quarterback-driven team, in my opinion. Jalen Hurts not going to see or going to the White House because of some stupid brainwashed, libtard minionization of his brain is pretty pathetic, and it's very disappointing, although it's not surprising. Like I said, Jalen Hurts' mother is notorious and has been since Alabama for being a race baiter. His mother has always been somewhat of a race baiter. Not too sure about his father, but he's probably along the same lines. I'm going to go ahead and bring Killer Breeze in the house. Killer Breeze is the Oklahoma Roughneck.
What's happening?
What's going on, Roughneck?
Just hanging, man. Just hanging. Getting another work week started. Another Monday under the belt, which is Groundhog Week. It's the same thing over and over again. But glad to have Monday over with. Just getting me that much closer to the weekend.
What do you think about that Thunder OU Center just brought up? I actually forgot all about that. Wasn't on the agenda tonight, and I was going to talk about it. I just forgot about it. Jalen Hurts is not going to the White House.
I mean, he's not going because he's not a Trump supporter. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, basically.
It's disappointing, I mean, it just reminds you that as much as we feel like the worm is turning and things are getting a little bit back closer to normal, some of the insane ridiculousness is being not paid as much attention to, but it just goes to show you that it's still out there. Jalen Hurts hates Trump, probably based on nothing but what he's heard in his own, community and off the legacy news. And as we all know, that's a horrible place to get your information. So point being, the things that he probably hates about Trump are probably not even true, but it's what it is. And ultimately, I would like to think that there's going to come a day when he's going to look back on his life and go, damn, I probably should have done that. That was stupid. I had a chance to go to the White House.
Well, I
probably should have done it.
It's just sad that the liberals have, they target, and I'm not trying to be controversial here, but it's like liberals target black folks to me. And
there's no doubt.
They work that angle, man, and they try constantly to put that divider between white people and black people, playing the race card and pretend like Donald Trump was racist when Donald Trump used to be a Democrat, and all these rap artists today still support him. But it's just crazy to me.
When Jesse Jackson ran for president in 1984, Donald Trump funded his campaign. So that was 40 years ago. He was a rich white guy funding the only black guy running for president, funding his campaign. So stop with the nonsense that he's a racist. It's just ridiculous. And that plays into what you're showing on the screen right now, the nonsense of people saying that Shedeur's slip in the draft is racial. Give me a break, man. First of all, it's kind of hard to claim that we got a racist bias against a black quarterback when the number one pick in the draft was a black quarterback.
Well, you know what they did, don't you? They microcosmed it down
So,
to the way Shedeur presents himself is what they're being racist towards. Shedeur doesn't present himself like Cam Ward. He comes out, he's got the gold chains, he got the I guess the thug mentality about him. I don't know what they're talking about, but
dude, like, first of all, you know how the NFL ultimately at the end of the day, those owners, they own those teams, so they have a whole lot of say in what goes down. And when you act like a fool in your interview process and you basically rub it in their face that they don't understand what you're doing. I mean, he said the words, if you're not looking to change your franchise and your culture, don't pick me. In other words, I'm coming in and things are going to change around, I'm going to change things over there. Well, that's just a bad way to enter any relationship with an employer. Typically, employers are not going to like to hear employees that haven't worked a day there yet tell everyone that they're coming in to change everything because they're just special and they're different.
I'm surprised that the Browns drafted him because they already drafted a quarterback, and he made a off-cuff comment about Joe Flacco earlier in the day.
I feel bad for Dylan Gabriel, to be honest with you. It sucks for him, that he's going to have to deal with this because all the press all year long is going to be on Shedeur all year long. And look, clearly I was not in the interviews with Shedeur. I'm getting everything that I'm about to say is I've heard from sports pundits on the news over the last couple of days. But it keeps getting worse and worse. Like, not only was he a bad interview, but dude, apparently he was doing things like FaceTiming on his phone while he was in the interview and blowing off the whiteboard section, of the interview, which I would suppose is when you get up and start breaking down X's and O's, and him basically poo-pooing it like he doesn't have to do it because he's Shedeur. I heard Shedeur with my own ears talking about likening himself to his dad with the people saying, don't you think maybe this is a wake-up call? And him saying, no, it's not. He's like, it's just the hate that look at my dad. They hated on my dad the same way. Just like,
no,
you might want to get one snap in the NFL first before you start likening yourself to your father.
Wasn't Dion Sanders wasn't he like a first or second round pick in the draft?
Who?
Dion Sanders.
He was a first round pick.
Exactly. So how can you compare yourself to your daddy when you're not even close, man? This article I bring up right now says that the Browns may cut him. And look at the verbiage in this. These people are so up the. It's like if they're immoral and stand and are disrespectful, it's like the legacy media eats it up and they won't support them. It says the Browns may cut Colorado Buffaloes football legend Shedeur Sanders. They called him a legend in this article. Can you believe that shit?
It's unbelievable, man.
A legend? He didn't even win a freaking bowl game, man, in his career.
It's just so ridiculous. And at the end of the day, from what I heard someone saying today that the only reason why he got picked by Cleveland was it was a favor, basically. That they essentially just picked him to stop him from completely falling out of the draft.
Well, I mean, that's just stupid on Cleveland's part. It don't surprise me, though. Cleveland's been Cleveland. They've been shitting the bed. Even before the original Cleveland Browns left and went to Baltimore, they were doing stupid shit. And then you thought, well, they'll reform Cleveland and they might change a little bit. No, they're still doing the same shit, man. I know it's about what it is about the city of Cleveland in football, but ever since the late 1980s, they've been shitting the bed left and right. It says here that you got Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Deshaun Watson, who's still on the roster, may be coming back. So he may actually get cut.
Well, and it's just absolute. The whole situation is ridiculous. And I mean, and again, with his slide down the draft board, is it really that big of a surprise? Like, think about this. First of all, if you're not going to draft him to be a starter, then you certainly don't want to draft him you don't want him as a backup where the national media is going to be running past every one of your starters to go interview Shedeur and go talk about how hard is it, Shedeur, for a guy as good as you to be sitting on the bench when he doesn't even necessarily deserve to be playing? You don't want that circus, man. You just don't want to deal. Why would you want to deal with that? And then also, while he's on the bench, the national media will be saying the whole time he should be starting. So then you're going to have these like, what's that?
Didn't Joe Flacco win a Super Bowl?
Yes.
He said something about Joe Flacco. I can't remember word for word, but he basically, when they didn't pick him in that first round, he's like something about, well, if you want to put all your eggs in your basket behind Joe Flacco, then that's your loss. I'm like, dude, he won a freaking Super Bowl, you idiot.
It's just again, man.
It says Browns GM Andrew Berry admitted that he felt former Oregon, Oklahoma, and USCF star Dylan Gabriel, who they took third round, was better than Sanders. No shit. Why they picked him before him? Because he was better than him.
I mean, let's just again, at the end of the day, the NFL is probably the purest meritocracy that exists. You might be able to say the same thing for every pro sports franchise out there, to be honest with you, but certainly in the NFL, damn good and well that the only thing owners and coaches and GMs and fans, the only thing they care about is their team winning. Dude, look at how many times they've bent their morals and their ethics to put a shady character on their team because he thought he would help them win. Like that. So at the end of the day,
anybody with common sense, man, you're just everyday guys, and we can see it's absolutely a bad idea to sign Deshaun Watson ahead of Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield took him to the playoffs, man. Cleveland never goes to the playoffs. Why are you going to get rid of your quarterback, man?
Yes.
Let me get some of these comments real quick. Got a bunch of people up in here already. John Ritchie is in the house. He's one of our regulars. What's going on, JPC and Posse? Rick Birdwell's here. He was the meme of the day. I don't know if you saw that earlier. It's pretty funny what he sent me. Big Orange is in the house. He's one of our lone volunteers up in here. I'm starting to have a lot of respect for the volunteers these days. They started the whole telling these diva-esque players to kiss their ass and go somewhere else. And now Arkansas is sort of doing it with his brother. They're actually suing them. They got actually a pretty prominent lawyer that never loses cases. They are suing the Amalevas for the $200,000 that they took from Arkansas.
I want everybody to take a step back and look at what the Iamaleava camp did for their star players. You had two brothers, that one was definitely starting in the SEC, and the other one had a chance to start in the SEC. Maybe not this year, but soon enough. At good programs in the SEC, no less. Programs that certainly have good fan bases, that if you bring them winning football, they're going to support the shit out of it. And not only did they get those two kids out of those positions at those great football schools, but send both of them to a subpar football program at best, where it's a guarantee that one of them has to sit behind the other. I mean, what in the F? And making less money at that, and getting sued. I mean,
right here.
How retarded do you have to be?
This is coming from CBS Sports. It's a pretty reliable source. Arkansas NIL Collective calls on prominent lawyer to enforce Madden Amaleva's buyout clause in a mid-transfer. I saw this originally from Aaron Torres on X. He's a great follow, by the way. Y'all check Aaron Torres out. But he said the guy is not only prominent, but he rarely ever loses, man. This mug's like the Perry Mason of lawyers, man. They're fixing to sue the hell out of these guys.
Well,
I love it. I love it. I don't normally
listen,
root for Tennessee and Arkansas, but hey, Peak Suey and Rocky Top, baby.
First of all, it's amazing to me. It's amazing to me that he would think he doesn't owe them the money back anyway. Like, dude, again, what kind of world do we live in? You these kids think you're gonna go sign these NIL deals and go take all that cash and you don't owe anything back? Well, I mean, again, tell me you're retarded without saying that you are retarded. I don't even know how else to put it.
Let's see what else we got in here. Steve Kelly is a new name. Let me see if I can click on it. Steve Kelly says maybe we should segregate the NFL. I'm not sure exactly what he means by that. I'm not calling for segregation. That's not what I said, man. All we're saying is it's not racism. If anything, it's racism against players like Jackson Dart, who people are saying crap about. Only because why? Because he's white. Which means they're judging him by his skin color, right? Is that right?
You know that.
I mean, that's racism, right? Ain't that the definition of racism? Y'all judging Jackson Dart by his white skin color, saying the only reason he got that spot because he was white. You think the New York Giants give a flying shit whether he's white or not?
No, that's my point, dude. The guy could have a green dick growing out of the side of his face. If he could throw touchdowns, he's starting in the NFL. They don't care.
He says he's got a Shrek dick.
Care.
He's got a Shrek dick growing out of the side of his head.
I mean, straight up, man. Like it could be a green, deformed, syphilitic dick oozing with pus that every time he speaks sprays a little bit of it out, and they would still sign his ass, pay him top dollar, and have him starting in the NFL.
This is the clip of the day, man. I'm gonna have to go back and clip this out and do a short with this.
Well, I'm just saying it's the truth. That's what I'm saying. Like, spare me the nonsense. Like, why can't we call it like it is? You live by the sword and you die by the sword. You want to act like a cocky dick? You better be expecting the ramifications of acting that way. Now, his dad gets to pull it off a lot of the time because of how good he was. He can talk a lot of shit because he backed it up. But it still costs him at times too. At the end of the day, a lot of people don't like that. They don't like it. And guess what? Nobody owes you a effing thing, man. I'm sick of pretending like we do. He's good at sports, and he's the son of an ultra-famous mega football star himself. That's his cachet. And that doesn't mean anything. If you piss everybody off that is potentially going to hire you, guess what? You're not going to get hired. And again, it doesn't matter what you look like. Nobody cares, man. That's the other thing. I'm tired of the racism nonsense because, again, nobody cares. You think I sit around all day thinking about somebody else and the color of their skin and what they like? I'm thinking about how in the hell am I going to buy dinner tonight? How am I going to pay my insurance at the end of the month? I don't give a rat's ass what anybody looks like. And most people don't either. So spare me with the racial nonsense with Shedeur slide. It had nothing to do with that.
NIL Commish has a line of acronym explanations for ESPN. The first one is exaggerated sports predictable narratives. Let's see what else he's got here. Embarrassing sellouts pushing nonsense. That's ESPN. ESPN. Yep, it fits. Experts spewing pointless noise. ESPN. Egotistical shills polluting news. Yep, pretty much. More like shits instead of shills. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and link this in here real quick. I did it earlier, but if y'all want to be on the show, just holler at me if one of y'all want to be on the show. It's in the comment section. If you've been in here a few times and we can trust you not to get on here and be a complete idiot, we'll let you come up in here.
And by the way, if you listen carefully, there are a lot of sports pundits that are calling it like it is. Look, black as well as white. So
Willie Holloway says racist ass channel. You believe that? You believe Willie called me a racist? So what's your basis for the racist accusations there, Willie?
I think he's kidding. I hope he's kidding.
Yeah. Hey, probably not, man. I mean, if you can't get your way, if you're not good enough, hide behind the race car because that's what cowards do. When they're not good enough to do something, they make up lies about something and try to tear it down. When in all actuality, Willie, like I said before, the only reason you're saying that is because I'm white. If I was on here today, Killer Breeze was on here today, and we were both black dudes, y'all wouldn't be saying that shit about us. So that makes you a racist. You are the racist, Willie boy.
Well, that's the other thing too. This whole concept of race is all about power, and you can't be racist if you don't have the power. My ass. Racism is about judging your superiority or inferiority based on of the man's skin color. That's what it is. Their race, their racial ethnicity. That's what it is. So it has zero to do with power. It's that's nonsense.
NIL committee says that Willie was talking about ESPN. Well, my apologies, man. My apologies, but you said it sort of vaguely, and I didn't know. So there wasn't enough context there for me. But I do apologize, Willie. That's my bad.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, again, it's about the football, man. That's all that matters. And here's the thing. If Shedeur is the best quarterback in that loaded quarterback room, and I mean loaded, if he's the best guy, he'll play. There's no doubt about it. He will absolutely play.
But it just keeps getting better, man, because now they're accusing Tom Brady of sabotaging Shedeur Sanders at the NFL draft.
Yeah, because supposedly Tom Brady's been a mentor for Shedeur over the years, and now Tom Brady's part of the ownership in Las Vegas. And so, why didn't he draft Shedeur if he really cared about him? Like, once again, it is a business. And most people know it's an absolute cluster F to do business with friends and family to start off with. So, if anything, it's probably more evidence of the good relationship he has with Shedeur, that he doesn't want to sour it over a business relationship gone poorly.
This dude is a legend, and he took time out of his schedule to mentor him, and this is what you're going to get back for it?
But also, man, what does that tell you? The best quarterback ever, who, by the way, was drafted later in the NFL draft than Shedeur was.
Yeah.
When the best quarterback ever, who's now part of the ownership in an expansion, location, first of all, we all know how competitive he is anyway. But if anything, you know how owners are with their startup businesses, and it might as well be a startup for him because he's brand new to the ownership. You think he's not going to draft that guy if he thought he could play football or play quarterback? You think you think he's not going to draft him? And by the way, you think he might know what he's looking for?
Yeah, they act like they have a reason to doubt this guy's evaluation. He mentored him, so he's going to know that he's not worthy of being drafted. If he mentored the guy, then he damn well knows he's not draftable, or he doesn't need to be drafted by them anyway.
This is simple as that. And by the way, here's another point I heard somebody talking about today. This was not a particularly strong class for quarterbacks. If you go to last year's quarterback class, Cam Ward is probably 4th or 5th in that class. So where does that tell you where Shedeur would have been last year? So he just wasn't on people's boards, man. That's all there is to it.
They drafted Jalen Milroe before him. And Jalen Milroe is what color is he, by the way?
Just like the number 1 pick in the draft, same color.
Yeah. And Jalen Milroe dresses like that. He has the rap guy mentality sometimes, and nobody, held it against him. The Seahawks drafted him.
Well, but you can also probably make an argument that he's probably got drafted a little bit lower than he would have normally been drafted based on his athletic prowess because of his, personal BS that comes with him. Some teams were probably like, nah, I'm not spending a high draft pick on him. I don't know about his maturity yet. I don't know about, So that's probably a reason why he didn't go, why the Saints didn't draft him, for example.
I'm so glad, man. I was mad, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. So I didn't want him to draft him. You know, the Saints is one of my favorite teams, man.
Oh, dude.
And please, I already had to put up with Jameis Winston, man. Come on.
Trust me. I was against the Jameis Winston. I couldn't stand that maneuver. It is good, though, that my Saints drafted my boy Danny Stutzman, and they expect I expect him to play.
Danny Stutzman?
Yeah, went to the Saints, 4th round.
Who was y'all's highest pick?
Kelvin Banks from Texas, left tackle.
Kelvin Banks was Oklahoma's?
Oh, no. I thought you meant the Saints' highest pick. Danny Stutzman was their highest pick, 4th round.
It's funny they used our NFL team to prank call.
Yeah.
Shedeur, did you see that shit?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm sorry, man, but you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
He didn't even get it at first.
He's like, what'd that mean? What'd that mean?
Look at this. What'd that mean? He's like, what'd he say? He's like, I don't know. He's like, how can you not know what he said and you was on the phone with him?
But again, look at the way he was acting on that phone call that he was getting pranked on. He's just, it's gonna be like, he's just acting like a cocky little kid, man. That's what he was acting like.
Daniel Looney says when everything is racist, nothing is. The word means nothing now. You're right. There's actual. I'm not naive. There's still racism out there. I understand that, man, on both sides. But now people that actually have to endure a racist situation, nobody's going to believe them because all these other people that just holler racism every time they fail, right?
Yep. Big Stat Kelly says he didn't want the Saints to draft any quarterbacks. I don't know, man. For some reason, I'm kind of cautiously optimistic about picking Shuck. I think he might work out.
Big Stack said he'd laugh his ass off if Dylan Grable wins the starting job out there at Cleveland.
He's got a better chance than Shedeur.
Obviously, he was drafted.
Huh?
I mean, when have you ever drafted somebody before another player if you don't think they're better than you? Does that happen? Do you do that deliberately? If you do,
Dude,
you don't need to be
Cleveland.
on no team, right?
It's Cleveland, man. It's Cleveland, dude. I don't. Big Orange said the sky was bruised, the wine was bled, and there you led me on in your house. What's that from? What am I missing?
I don't know. I pulled it up. I was thought you might know what was going on. You're going to explain that one to us, Big Orange. That's some volunteer.
That's some
speak.
Lyrics to something.
That's some volunteer speak. I don't understand it. You have to translate it into normal speak. Got some new names up in here. Major Warren says teams better step up after this or players will be traded and GMs and coaches will be fired. Over what? What are they going to be fired over? I don't understand. I don't understand. The only reason this draft's any different than any other draft is because it had these spastics in it. And all Mel Kiper and them goofs talked about was, who's going to trade up and get Shedeur? Nobody. Nobody. Well, actually, my bad. Cleveland did trade up into the 5th round, and they picked him. And he was the second quarterback on one team. He's so bad that he got picked second on his own team.
So there was another team that picked 2 quarterbacks at the end of the draft too. Who was that? It was oh man. Was it New England maybe? Someone picked up 2 quarterbacks at the end of the draft as well.
Hope Sims says, I thought Billy Bowman was drafted higher than Stutzman.
He was not. He was in the 4th round also. Ethan Downs signed with somebody as an undrafted free agent. I can't remember who.
Dylan Gabriel got drafted before the Texas Long Turds quarterback.
He didn't go until the 7th round. Quentin Ewers cost himself a lot of money.
He was almost Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
He probably should have went out last year.
He probably should have come back and played one more year of college football.
Yeah, but
like
Arch Manning Texas probably wouldn't let him come back. He would have had to pull a Carson Beck.
He could have gone somewhere else. Yeah. He would have had to. Yeah, he would have had to go somewhere else, but he could have done that, and he would have got a payday just like Dylan Gabriel did. And
Yep.
I think it helped Dylan Gabriel's draft stock, to be honest.
They were talking about some of these players, if they'd stayed in college, would have made more money than the NFL.
Well, Shedeur would have made more money.
Exactly. His dad screwed him, man. If someone wants to blame somebody, blame Dion Sanders, man. He's the one that screwed this whole thing up for his sons, man. He made this a big-ass circus act, and he mistreated the NFL scouts at the Colorado Pro Day.
It doesn't help anything when Dion's going around telling everyone he's going to be a top 5 pick, saying things like there might be some programs that if you pick us, we're not going to go. Like, give me a break. In the 2nd and 3rd round, anyone that would have drafted your sorry ass, you'd have jumped on them faster than stink on you know what. You'd have been all over it. But didn't happen. And again, act like a fool in your interviews. What do you think? Like you're taunting people, man.
I'm just glad
taunting people that don't owe you anything.
I'm just glad Arkansas sued them. Because $200,000 is a lot to me and you, but really in some of these athletic budgets, $200,000 is just a drop. But it's the principle of the matter, man. They should go after him and get that money back and recoup that money. They can give it to somebody else.
He owes them the money. If he's not going to play there, what makes him think he can keep the money?
Exactly.
This is ridiculous. The name you are getting paid for your name, image, and likeness with the University of Arkansas, man. You think you get to come by and take 200 G's and you get to just keep that because your dumb, sorry ass decides to go sit on the bench behind your even dumber, stupider brother? Like, I mean, and again, I just can't wait to see Nico get his ass kicked up and down the football field like he stole something from people. Because that's what's coming. UCLA is not good. They are particularly bad on offense. You think your grievances against Texas, they didn't have enough weapons around you? You didn't have a good enough offensive line? I say Tennessee probably has one of the better offensive lines in the entire country, not just the SEC. And you think you're going to have a better line in Los Angeles?
If y'all don't mind, jump out of the chat real quick and smash that like button for us. Also, if you hadn't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button. All that stuff's free. But now, if you want to be an Outlaw Posse and get your badge like Big Stack Kelly, Killer Breeze, and other people up in here tonight, all you got to do is join the Outlaw Posse. It's $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. It's a little join button over by the subscribe button. But like I said, you can do the big four, which are all free. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. They're all absolutely free. But yeah, just jump out and smash that and help us out with the algorithm.
Yeah, smash that like button.
Jonathan says they were trying to send a message to Dion for remarks he made to the media prior to the draft. Had nothing to do with Shedeur's playing ability. I disagree with that. It was some of Dion's fault. I agree. But if he was as good as he thinks he is, they would have drafted him. Someone would have drafted him. I mean, they drafted.
It had a lot to do with his playing ability.
Exactly. I mean, they drafted Lamar Jackson, didn't they? They drafted Tim Tebow in the first round. They drafted Johnny Manziel. They drafted all these guys, man. And Johnny Manziel had one of the biggest attitudes, and they still drafted him. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. And they crucified his ass in the media every chance they got. They sure didn't do anything nice for him because he was a white boy.
They said the reason why Cam Ward wasn't discriminated against was because he come across as a very respectable guy, wore a tie, and didn't act stupid, and that's why he was not disrespected like Shedeur was.
Yeah. In other words, he didn't act like an idiot.
Right.
I mean, again, man, it's a free country. You can do whatever you want. You have every right to be as cocky and as arrogant as you want to be.
Well,
I
they
was
said
young
that.
once. I used to do the same thing.
They
I
said
can
that
tell
because
you.
they said that because Shedeur and the way he portrays himself is this how he is about the rap mentality and all that stuff, the gold chains, man. They're saying that's why one of the reasons he wasn't drafted higher, and he was outspoken and talked a lot of shit. But there's been a lot of players that were drafted in the top 5 that did talked a lot of shit. I mean, Cam Newton was one of the weirdest guys you ever know, said some of the craziest shit, man. And they drafted him in the top 5, right?
Yeah. 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 They don't care, man. If you can play, you will play. If you can win in the NFL, they will pay. Look at what they're paying quarterbacks that can win in the NFL now, dude. They're making $40 fucking million a year. That's what they're making if they prove they can win in the NFL. That's how highly the owners and the fans and everybody feels like the quarterbacks are worth if they can win games in the NFL. Hell, the quarterbacks that can't win games on a regular basis in the NFL make 15 to 20 million a year. That's the bad ones.
That's right.
So I promise you, if Shedeur Sanders proves that he can play in the NFL, his ass will be starting faster than you can blink your eyes. That's a fact.
Major Warren says Johnny Manziel went to interviews drunk and high, then fell asleep, and yet was still a top pick. NIL Commish says Michael Vick was the number 1 overall pick. Now Cam Ward, but let's keep Shedeur the number 1 topic in the world. I blame Mel Kiper and ESPN. Yeah, someone must have been paying Mel Kiper to do that, man, because I don't understand it, man. How can you be so wrong about something? You're supposed to be this draft guru. This guy wasn't even close to the first round. He didn't even sniff the first round.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just what it is, man. I mean, it's the ultimate meritocracy. You can't get a more pure meritocracy than the National Football League. It's as simple as that. And if you have the skills, you will play.
Fred Bagley says, well, Sakazula is damn sure legendary now. Yeah, he's legendary for all the bad reasons. Notoriously legend. He's a notorious legend. I'm gonna bring up something right now that you might like, Killer Breeze, if you're through talking about the Jackass family, that being the Sanders. That you might like. I didn't know this. When I told you today that if you had some stuff on Oklahoma, I didn't know this was on CBS, but it says the college football transfer portal winners and losers are Penn State and Oklahoma, while the ACC teams imploded. Moving on down here, we're trying to find the areas. Winners. Oklahoma is at the top of the list on CBS. It says Brent Venables is pulling out all the stops to the right ship with this disappointing early 10 years OU head man. He imported the Washington State Offensive Brain Trust with John Materi and offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle. He retooled the personnel staff with the addition of former Senior Bowl executive director Jim Nagy this spring and added running back Jaden Ott from California. The Sooners go down this season, they'll go down swinging. So CBS thinks that y'all are probably one of the top winners in the transfer portal.
Well, if you look at the players that they've gotten, and I read that article, a lot of the people giving praise to Oklahoma are really only looking at Ott and Mateer. But if you look at what they've done outside of the tight end position, they brought in good pieces, man. So they've been kind of a trendy pick in a lot of people's portal winners and losers. I've seen them. I've seen Oklahoma in a few different lists end up in the winners, which is fine by me because the last few, it seems like the last 2 or 3 semesters, have been bad.
Yeah, it's good news. I mean, usually CBS, they don't really usually talk good about Oklahoma.
No. And I mean, listen, we're hearing good things out of Norman about the offensive line, particularly about some of the younger some of the younger players from last year that have now had a lot more time to develop more. That those guys are playing better, and then the recruits that they brought in, the high school players, Foji and Fasusi, have been everything they hoped that they would be and more. So, offensive line looks like it's going to be better. I mean, my big question mark is still the wide receiver room. I don't know exactly what to expect yet. The best transfer player they brought in, Giovanni Gibson, is out until at least the beginning of the season. I hope he doesn't come back at the beginning of the season. I hope they hold him out until the start of the conference play, so that he can get that injury as much time as possible. But I just don't know what to expect out of him. After Dion Burke sat most of last year, I don't know what to expect out of him. So, but if I can stay healthy, which there's no reason to believe he can't. If I can stay healthy, if the wide receiver room can play at a high level again, if the offensive line can be improved, is truly improved, then there's no reason why Oklahoma can't be a pain in a lot of teams' asses this year.
John Ritchie sent me something. I might pop it up here in a second. It's a funny meme that he sent me about the one they call Sakazulu, or at least we do, and then I'm called a racist for whatever reason. I don't understand it because Shaka Zulu, it's a play on words from the African king Shaka Zulu, who was a great warrior. So, I mean, that should be a compliment in some aspects, right?
Yeah.
Just trying to be nice. Yeah.
and it's a joke. Everybody needs to get the knot out of their panties.
He said it's not a meme, it's real. On 3 just broke it. All right, well, I'm
What is it?
I'm gonna send it to my email and I'm gonna put it up. You take over the show for a second if you got any little tidbits you want to throw out there.
What the hell is going on? Now you got me intrigued.
While you're intrigued, you take over for a while, get it loaded up.
What in the hell is going on over here?
I'm gonna get it real quick while you keep them busy.
So what does the chat think? I mean, it sounds like most of y'all agree that the Shedeur, we can put the Shedeur issue to rest, that none of this has anything to do with the color of his skin. It has everything to do with dad and son acting like fools. Are we all in agreement? I'm sure that we are.
Y'all have any new nicknames for him? I'm sort of getting tired of calling him Con Time and Sakazulu. Y'all ain't got any better nicknames for him?
I'm sure that between now and the throughout the next NFL season, they are going to give us plenty of material to come up with new names. What's up, 1989M? 1989M is in the house. John Christophic, I saw you. What's up, John? Daniel, the NIL commish, all the boys are in the house tonight.
Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
On 3 says the Toronto Argonauts have added Shedeur Sanders to their Canadian Football League negotiation list. So they're already planning for an exit strategy because they know his ass is going to get cut probably.
Oh, man, this is just too good to be true.
Now, whether this is fake or not, I don't know. People's like, well, it's got the gold thing and blah, blah, blah. You can fake that too. You can fake anything these days. With the AI and all that shit, man, there's nothing safe.
No, that's a fact. But man, it would make sense, like especially if the rumors are true about Cleveland, possibly cutting him before we even get to the start of the season. That would be, you got to imagine that certainly their plan is not to keep both Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders on the roster next year. There's no way that's what they plan on doing, right? Certainly they plan on cutting or trading one of them before
I just hope they don't feel pressured to keep him because of all the backlash that might ensue from all the liberal spastics out there that jump on every immoral train that they can find.
Well, dude, would you want this guy on your team?
No.
If he's sitting on it, like, it is a no-win situation for the coach and the owner. If he's sitting on the bench, you're going to have the press idiots like ESPN that are going to be running stories about, is this fair that Shedeur Sanders has to be sitting on the bench? Then if he's starting, unless he's winning, all the time, anytime if he's starting, they're going to be constantly talking about how good he is, when even if he's not. And if you, God forbid, don't want to start him anymore, then you're going to be the racist coach. Who wants to deal with that? Really? Why would you bring that into your organization? And he has not proven that he won't go right along with that. Like, if he would have come out when all this nonsense has been going on these last, since the slide happened, if he would have come out and been like, hey, we need to put an end to this. I know this had nothing. I don't care about that. Hey, I fell where I fell. I'm happy to be with the Browns. This has nothing to do with race. Y'all all need to stop that. If he'd have done something like that, then good. Then that would have been good. You know what I mean? But he didn't. So he was kind of complicitly going along with the narrative, and it was nonsense.
If you want to get your comment read out by me and Killer Breeze, just click on the $money sign at the bottom, and it'll push it to the top and highlight it above everybody else's. We can't get to all the comments in here. So if you want us to answer your comment directly, then click on that $money sign and it'll push to the top, and we will read it out for you and answer it no matter what it is. Hey. Even if you want to call us racist or any other lying-ass adjective that you can come up with because you're mad because the Con-Time Dion Sanders groupies and the Sacazulu groupies all in one fell swoop shit their pants and went in the 5th round. I mean,
Major Warren says he disagrees with the dude in the hat, which I assume is me, which is fine.
What's that?
Major, Killer Breeze, Major. Now you know who I am. I'm not, you can refer to me either way. If you want to still call me the dude in the hat, that's fine too. What do you disagree with, my man? What am I wrong about?
Well, we both got a hat on. I just got a cowboy hat on. So.
Oh, that's true. Well, I think he's talking about me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know you're saying that you expect him to get traded. That's what I was saying. Then there's no way they're keeping both of these guys on a team. That's what I was saying. Is that what you disagreeing with me about? Come on, Major, talk to me.
Fred Bagley says he wants to see Sacazulu sign with the LFL. And he can rock his gold chains and thong and a bra. Nah, man, I won't see that shit. But, hey, he could probably make some money. He could transition. He could be a transgender and be Dion Sanders' second daughter. Dion's got $1, right? I think he's got $1. But he could be Dion's second daughter. He could transition and do like that ding-a-ling.
Oh, God damn. What are we talking about?
He said Sacazulu's going to sign with the LFL. He's going to be with the Lingerie Football League.
Dude. We got to stop right there. I don't want to hear about Shedeur and no damn lingerie. That's a horrendous image.
Talk Talk Tone says, duh, they will compete for the position. Watch him beat out Pickett and Gabriel, you two mouth breathers.
Shedeur Sanders is going to beat out.
That's
well,
called.
First of all, beating out Kenny Pickett. I mean, what is that? When was that any kind of milestone in the NFL? So let's just go ahead and take that out.
He ain't got to worry about Pickett. He's got to worry about Joe Flacco. You know, the guy that won the Super Bowl. You got Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Deshaun Watson could come back at any moment. And then you have Dylan Gabriel. I don't know. I don't think he can beat out four guys. There's a reason he was picked fifth, and it's not because he wore too many gold necklaces. It's just because he's not that good, man. His arm's not that strong. He can't run very fast. If he wasn't Dion Sanders' son, he likely don't get drafted at all. Don't you agree? Killer Breeze? He probably wouldn't have got drafted. If he hadn't been Dion Sanders' son, people are saying he didn't get drafted high because he was Dion Sanders' son. Oh, no. I think actually we got it wrong. He probably wouldn't have got drafted at all had he not been Dion Sanders' son. What do you think?
Well, like I said, there's a rumor going around that he was picked as a favor anyway. So I would believe that any day. Contrary, I know this is going to break Warren's heart, but the dude is not a starting winning quarterback in the NFL. I'll believe it when I see it. And apparently, a whole boatload of NFL owners agree with me as well. Because if he was good enough to win, they would have drafted his ass and paid him whatever he needed to be paid
to get him
to play.
We still talking about Shedeur?
Well, that's what he's saying. He's saying we're wrong, and he's got to. That's what we've been talking about.
Well, I guess all these billionaire businessmen that do this for a living and make billions doing it, I guess they were all wrong too.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Tom Brady, you know, the best quarterback ever, who now owns a team, who probably knows as well as anyone what to look for in a quarterback, who's got a personal relationship with the kid already, so knows him very well in terms of his ability as a quarterback. Yeah, he's just gonna let him slide. He's just gonna let him keep sliding. Nah, just to prove a message to Dion. They don't give a dude. None of that comes into play.
Major Warren said you need to be on The View.
I'll be on The View. I tell Joy Behar to suck my big dirty you know what.
You like Joy? Think she's sexy?
What in the hell does Brock Purdy getting picked deep in the draft? Tom Brady was picked late in the draft too. I never said that you can't be a good quarterback getting picked late in the draft. My point is, if the kid had skills to be picked higher in the draft, he would have been picked higher in the draft. The fact of the matter is, he wasn't high on anyone's draft board. That's a fact. It's not like a bunch of people beat out to him. He could have been picked up numerous times by every team in the NFL. They all said no.
What's so bad, man, is it wasn't just the NFL. He was picked second on the same team. That Cleveland had a chance to draft him numerous times. They didn't, and all of that, but they drafted another quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, and then waited 2 more rounds to draft him. And like you said, and a lot of people have been saying, I think a favor was called in of some sort. Maybe Roger Goodell said, look, man, this is we're getting a lot of backlash from the liberal media. Could y'all please draft this son of a bitch so they'll quit wetting their diapers and losing their noodles? Live on air, Mel Kiper's about to lose his Fonzie cut. Does his hair not look like an overkill Fonzie? I mean, just like all over the place up there, like a vampire or some shit.
Yeah. He took 2 teams from nothing into something, Major Warren says.
Where did he take them?
I guess he's talking about Jackson State and Colorado, which, again, what did he do at either one of those places? I don't remember him winning anything at either one of those places. Did they win more games than they were expected to win last year? Yeah, look, they did.
He went 4-9.
So what? They won those games in a mid-card conference. That's what that's. So who cares?
He went 4-9 in his first season in Colorado, and he went 9-4. So he was 500 overall. And when it's at Jackson State, they couldn't even win the Celebration Bowl, man. They had 2 cracks at the Celebration Bowl.
And by the way,
who couldn't win the Celebration Bowl?
Didn't they win it though since he left?
Yeah,
didn't they win it since he left?
Jackson State won the Celebration Bowl just last year or the year before.
Oh my God, I can't believe it! The best coach ever.
Jackson State won the Celebration Bowl without con time. Damn.
And again, Major, let's get real clear on something. Nobody is trying to say that either one of them are horrendous as coaches or players. But we're not going to sit here and get on our hands and knees and start milking them, sucking on their teats. Like that's not happening either. If he deserves it, we'll give him credit. Dion was a badass, probably the best at his position ever. He earned it. He can talk all the smack he wants. Shedeur has a lot to prove. And if you want to act like a jackass before you can back up all that shit you've been talking, then suffer the consequences.
And
you're playing a risky game. It could work out, but it could also go the way it's been going.
And you got to feel sorry for Contime, man. His seed is just failed him. I mean, this guy was supposed to be a first or second rounder, and he drops down to 5th round, and hell, his other son didn't even get drafted. Shiloh had to get a charity case contract from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And don't you feel sorry for Contime, man? Don't you feel bad now that you said all that, Killer Breeze?
No, I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad at all. I feel right on the money. And guess what? The NFL ownership agrees with me.
Not just the NFL ownership, the NFL ownerships, plural.
Hell,
Jerry Jones didn't even draft him, man. I thought Jerry Jones and Contam were tight. I thought that's where he was going to go, man. I said, man, Jerry Jones, man. That had to be just like Jerry Jones to bail Dion out. He's going to go out there and draft Shedeur, and then he's going to pick his son up too. His other son, Shiloh.
Right. I'm telling you, man, remember what I said. It don't matter what you look like. You could be the craziest looking dude on the planet. You can act. Look at Dennis Rodman. Look at what they put up with, because Dennis Rodman, like, if you can play, you will play in pro sports because they make money winning. That's what they make money on. Sure, they all make a little bit of money regardless, but everybody knows how much more money you make when you're that winning franchise. So they all want to be that.
Unless it's the WNBA, because they like to lose money.
Well, they do have some franchises that are fine with just making the little bit of money that they make. Not that is little, because there's nothing little about it. But there's clearly a lot of franchises that really,
Thunder OU Center makes a good point. The reason why Shedeur got to start at Jackson State, it's not Jacksonville, and stayed in Colorado is because of his dad being biased towards his son. That's true. Dion come into Colorado and basically said, hey, my son's going to start no matter what. There's not going to be a tryout. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but Dion's son coming out of high school, who recruited him? Was there any major colleges recruiting him? I mean, he ended up at Jackson State. So I'm just saying, man. I don't know. Maybe someone did recruit him and he just went to Jackson State to be with his daddy. Like Travis Hunter, he was one of those anomalies that went to Jackson State just because of Dion. But that's because Travis Hunter was a cornerback. I mean, I know he played wide receiver too, but he was mostly a cornerback, right? You can understand that.
Absolutely.
And look, Travis Hunter's on the same damn team. He's a guy that caught passes from Shedeur. And he went, what did he go, number 2?
2. And by the way,
why didn't they not draft? Why didn't they put an 8 ball, or why didn't they put a black ball on Travis Hunter if they didn't want to draft any Dion players?
It's a great point. And by the way, talking about Travis Hunter, the way that the NFL scouts and GMs and the people that are evaluating the talent, the way they all talk about Travis Hunter is that he is a game-changing athlete, that he's one of those rare guys that are going to change the game. So once again, got skills, get drafted. It's as simple as that.
Jamal said he don't think Shiloh was slated to get drafted, and that's probably true. But at least he lived up to expectations. At least Shiloh went where he's supposed to.
Well, and I mean, man, like the way they act matters may not matter to everyone, and that's fine, but it irks the hell out of me. I don't mind cocky, man, when you can back it up, but he has no reason to be, he hasn't proven anything yet.
He said enough with the horrible excuses. The kid got the Johnny H award. What horrible excuses? I'm not making any excuses. I'm laying the facts out for you. These are facts. This ain't an opinion that when you're in high school you take a test whether something's opinionated or fact. These are all facts. The fact is he didn't get drafted in the first round, second, third, or fourth round. And the fact is that a lot of these business owners, these people that own these NFL teams, they're rich for a reason because they make sound business decisions. That's a fact. That's not no excuse. That's not no opinion. That's a fact, Major. So I'm just saying.
If the NFL is good at one thing, it's making money, boatloads of it. They're real good at it. They know what they know. They're not just guessing at it, man. You know that. So what makes you think for 1 second they wouldn't have drafted his ass before Cam Ward if they thought he could do the things Cam Ward can do? Which, again, in a stronger QB class, Cam Ward isn't even sniffing number one. So what does that tell you about Shedeur? It's a particularly weak QB class, and he's not anywhere close to the top of it. So he's not that good.
NIL Commish makes a good point. Colorado averaged 65 yards rushing, 844 yards for the year. Padding stats in the passing game. Think about that. Yeah, Dion sort of padded that thing up for him. They were playing teams that weren't really good. By the way, another red flag that really started off with me was at halftime of the Stanford game when he's on the phone with his damn sponsors and he goes out and basically blows a 29-0 lead to Stanford. Does that sound like a great quarterback to you to allow that to happen? Yeah, I know the defense had something to do with it too, but you couldn't put more points up on the board. You put up 29 in the first half. Why couldn't you put up another 29?
Yeah.
On Stanford. Now, it'd been different if it'd been USC and Oregon that come back and beat you. Blowing a 29-point lead to anybody's bad, but this was Stanford you blew it to, a team that won 2 games that year.
Yeah.
He's just not a leader, man. He's just not.
And by the way,
it dictates that you be a leader.
And by the way, even if he was great in college, which that is debatable at best, but let's just say he was great in college. Since when does that mean dick about being good in the NFL necessarily? I remember a guy named Danny Werfel. He was pretty good in college. You remember Danny Werfel? How good was Danny Werfel in the NFL?
Not very good. Not very good.
He was great in college.
What about Alabama? My own team. A.J. McCarron was a good quarterback.
A.J. McCarron, one of the best Alabama quarterbacks.
And he went in there and he shit in the interviews and come across as an egotistical jackass. Nick Saban wouldn't back him after that. And guess what happened to A.J. McCarron? He went from a projected second-round pick to the 5th round. Just like Shedeur, because they both went in there and shit the bed in the interview process.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Travis Hunter's killing it. He's on the same team. He killed the interview process, from what I understand. Cam Ward, same thing.
And by the way, Travis Hunter is a flashy player. He's got the long braids. It's always the thing when they try to bring the race card into it. They're like, oh, he wears this hair in braids and he's got the gold chains and the white people are so scared of the braids and the gold chains. Dude, who gives a shit? I don't care. Once again, you can wear a pile of shit on your head if that's what you want to do. I don't care. Encrusted in diamonds and gold. I don't care. Like, doesn't matter, man. What matters in the NFL is can you play or not. How you look, how you carry yourself, and if there's a sliding scale, right? You get away with the more you win, the more you get away with. The less you win, the less you get away with. So if you want to show your ass all the time, like Shedeur does, and I don't think there's any questioning whether he's constantly showing his ass. If you want to show your ass all the time like that, then you better be able to back it up. And apparently, the people that get paid for a living to evaluate whether or not you can play in the NFL or not, they don't think he can back it up yet.
No.
How bad was that take, Warren? Was that good enough for the View? Do you think that take would have sounded good on the View?
Probably. Let's see what Cam Ward has to say about the situation. Let's see what this is all about. Someone sent this to me. Can you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Listen, I'm a generational talent. I'm a proven, right? Nah, you generational. I'm legendary. That's cool. We can do legendary. Man. Legendary get the generational is once every 100 years. Whoa. I'm tired of them comparisons, bro. They don't make no comparison to me. I'm in my own category. Why would you think I care what they say? You do, though. You ain't been crucified yet. Your time is coming. They said I quit on my team when I did it. Listen, I'm a generational talent. I'm a proven, right? Nah.
They don't like each other, by the way.
Man.
There was a real good clip, and I can't find it. It was him telling him, he's like, Shedeur said, "Come on, man, let's drop some beats. Let's do a song." And he's like, "I don't do songs. I don't do that. I'm a football player." He's like, "Come on, man, let's just drop one beat." He's like, "Man," he's like, what how you want them to look at you down the road?" And he's like, "When they see my name, they're gonna say American football player."
Hey, hold on, I don't want to interrupt you, but El Porto Loco saying, how was he showing his ass? No trouble nowhere. Just because he liked jewelry, he's showing his ass. Did I say that? When did I say that, Porto Loco? I never said he was showing his ass because he's wearing his jewelry and his bread. No, again, I said nobody cares about that. He's showing his ass when he starts FaceTiming in the middle of an NFL interview. That's showing your ass. He's showing his ass when he talks about, hey, don't pick me if you're not ready for change in your franchise and you ain't ready for then you ain't ready for me. That's showing your ass. I don't care.
He also disrespected He also disrespected Joe Flacco, who's a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Oh, but that's okay though, because that's black on white. That don't matter. You see, that's how that works. Someone like Porto Loco can accuse me basically of being a racist. That's what he just did, by the way. He can do that. That's fine. But if I come back at Porto Loco, I'm the racist white guy, right? Yeah. Hey, Porto Loco, you can choke on my Johnson. That's what I think about you and your implications about me being a racist.
They're only saying it. See, what's ironic about it, like I said earlier, and said
he is showing his ass. He is showing his ass, Porto Loco.
The only reason they say that
all the time.
The only reason they're saying that is because you're white. So basically, they're the racists because they're judging you by your white skin color. See,
well, that's what I'm saying, dude. It's ridiculous. You know nothing about me. You don't know dick about me.
Daniel Looney with a $20 donation says 1% from high school can play college at any level. Ban whatever less than 1%. 1% can play pro in any sports stuff. Not a failure. Just know where you are. You already top 1%. Do not overplay it. But see, that's the problem. See, he thinks because he's con-time Dion Sanders' son that he don't have to do any of the other stuff that the other quarterbacks have to do. He didn't show up. Another thing, he didn't show up for any of the combines, man. I can understand missing one or two, man. But you can't just miss everything. And that's what he done. He didn't show up for anything. And not showing up is the key phrase there, which means he may not show up in the game. Since he can't show up at a combine, right?
And by the way, the fact that he might have to kiss a little ass during the interview process, cry me a river, homie. Everybody has to kiss a little ass in the interview process. White, black, yellow, orange, green, purple, brown. It don't matter. When you're trying to get a job working for someone else, you got to kiss a little ass. And when you do that, that's not because they're being discriminatory against you. That's called the power dynamic. They're the boss. They're the ones with the money. You're trying to get them to cut you every couple of weeks. So some of them do that. Most of them do that. I've been dealing with that my whole life. Just the fact that he's dealing with it don't make it nothing about it unique or uncommon.
Private Warren said earlier that the interview thing is bullshit. I don't know how you can say it, man. Everybody in this world, especially in the United States of America, countries that aren't third world, have to do an interview for a job usually. That's everybody. What makes Shedeur so special that he doesn't have to do an interview or he doesn't have to act right in an interview? That's how people hire people every day. When I get a new job or you get a new job, what do? We interview. We go in there and say, hey, if you don't give me this and that and this and that, you know, your company's going to be shit. And I know you've been running your company for over a decade, maybe 30 or 40 years. But, you know, my dad's famous, so I know more than you. I don't have to give a good interview. How many places you think is going to hire Shedeur if he wasn't a football player? How many jobs do you think he would get acting that way if he wasn't a football player? If he had to just interview for a regular job, how many jobs do you think you'd get?
I wouldn't hire him. Big shock. But, you know, that kind of thing matters to me, man. You know,
I'm mad
some
because
people won't care. And by the way, there will be some companies that or employers that would love it, and they would hire him.
He said we're mad because the young man, a young man with millions. He don't have millions though. See, that's the thing. He's in the 5th round now, and the only person that's got millions is his daddy. He's only got millions because his daddy's got millions. So just say.
Well, it is a fair point. You know, do you think you would be following the guy at all if he was not Dion's son? Probably not. You know, he clearly couldn't get an offer to play Division I without his dad. The only reason why he made it to Colorado was because his dad took the job there. Nobody was offering him to play in college. Granted, he proved he can win on a college level. You know, I'll give him this. I've seen a lot more. I've seen a ton of quarterbacks that weren't as good as Shedeur. That's fair. But, you know, I'm not going to anoint the guy as Dion at the quarterback position. He hasn't shown any kind of likeness to that kind of greatness at the position in college, you know? And to me, it matters, you know, and maybe it's old school, but I believe in you're the new guy on the block. You show up and you earn the respect. You earn it. And trust me, once you earn it, then you demand it. There's nothing wrong. I'm cool with that.
Here's the bad thing, man. Major or Private Warren or whatever rank he is right now. Let's be honest, man. If Shedeur wasn't black, you wouldn't give a shit. If it was some white boy that was getting screwed, you wouldn't care, man. And so you know what that is? That's racism, man. You don't care about white people because they're white. That makes you a racist.
The nonsense of it all, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's not a Walmart interview. I know it's not a Walmart interview, man. It's an interview. It doesn't matter.
It's an interview, boy. Everybody around here knows who I am. This ain't surprising nobody that's been here for a while.
Whether it's Walmart or you're interviewing with the New York Yankees, man, you can't go in there and act like an idiot and act like that you and your daddy invented football. Because while he was a good cornerback in his day, Dion didn't invent football. And Dion don't dictate to these owners. Dion's got a lot of money, but he don't got that kind of money. He don't dictate shit. He might dictate to Colorado, but after next year, we're going to see how good con time is.
Well, and look, and again, you know, when it comes to bringing Colorado back from the dead as a football program, Dion did a great job doing that. that Colorado's relevant, how long they'll be relevant after he leaves, who knows? You know what I'm saying? But for the time that he's there, they are relevant. So I thought they would do a lot better in recruiting. I think that's a fair criticism. There's nothing super special about his recruiting. It's okay. He's clearly brought in some great talented players. I think that Seton kid at offensive line is I think he played as damn near all the games last year as a freshman. Or maybe he's coming in as a freshman right now and they expect him to start. It's something like that. So he brings in talent, but it's not like he's necessarily bringing in anywhere close to top 10 classes or anything. So,
on other news,
he's been above average, a little bit above average at best.
Darren Reed from Alabama transferred to OU. One of our basketball players transferred to you guys. Just not trying to change the subject, but they didn't popped it up a couple of times, so I guess they wanted to get that out there. But moving on from Shedeur Sanders, did you have anything that you wanted to touch on? I mean, I talked to you earlier today. I thought you might have had something that you wanted to hit on.
Well, it's funny that you bring up the pickup from the kid from Bama going to, because the basketball program, it's not just the football program that's done well in the portal. The basketball program has had several nice pickups in the portal, and it looks like they're going to lose their best player again. They've been on a tear. It seems like their best player in basketball leaves at the end of the season, the whole time he's been there. And that is definitely is going to happen again with Fears leaving. But it does sound like he's also retaining some pretty good players and bringing in some good players as well. Looks like the basketball program is doing pretty well. Alexander, sorry to see you go, dog.
So backing up just a little bit, because we didn't really talk about it that much, do you think if colleges like Arkansas start suing these players for leaving after taking the $200,000, do you think that maybe that'll help curb some of this stupidity that's going on with just players just being able to up and leave after half a year? I mean, you got players leaving in the middle of the year now. So, I mean, I think these colleges need to get together and say, hey, we're not putting up with this shit no more. Y'all do that, y'all going to pay us back, man. Just like a contract, you got to give them something in return, man. When the NFL team takes another NFL team's player, that other NFL team gets something in return, right? It's giving these players an unrealistic view of how things are going to be when they get to the NFL.
I mean, players learn that all the time in the NFL. The NFL, just like the real world, owes you nothing. And you will get nothing from them that you don't earn. You can bet your ass on that. The NFL ain't handing out no free money to nobody. That's a fact.
Daniel Looney with a $2 donation. He's keeping us in business tonight. Daniel's paying the bills, man.
Daniel's hooking it up, man. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that.
I put a link in there a couple of times. If y'all want to come up in here and, talk whatever shit you want to, I'm free reign tonight for everybody. I've put the link in there a couple of times.
Why don't we get Major Warren up here? Major Warren, come plead your case, man.
You want the link, Major Warren, Private Warren, whatever?
Come on, man.
Just loving on you, Major.
Jump on here and teach me about it.
Don't go so bit.
Why I'm wrong.
Don't wet your diaper, man. We're just playing around. Look, Daniel Looney says this was painful to watch because people hating.
Hey, Daniel, I'm gonna say it just like Shedeur. The hate just makes it normal, man. We wouldn't be nothing without the hate. The hate just makes it normal.
Now they do exactly to us what they say that we do to them.
Yeah.
They come in here, they want to censor us and tell us we can't have an opinion. And then they want to shout us down with false labels, call us racist, call us bigot, and all that shit, when actually they're the ones that's racist and they're the ones that's the bigots. Daniel Looney with a $5 donation says no, because if they show up to one photo shoot, the college loses. NIL, they lose the colleges. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
I'm not sure. Let's see.
I'll put the link in there again. Here's the link. I'm fixing to post it in the comment section, and then y'all want to come up in here and put us in our place. If you're scared, just say you're scared. We'll leave you alone. Just like Steve. I can't do it. I can't come up there in person. I'm busy right now. I'm busy. I'm a security guard at the Fagonomics factory.
You know, man, at the end of the day, none of it's personal. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. And, you know, but it just seems like for too long that's been a one-way street. Certain that's true for some people, not true for others. And at the end of the day, we can disagree. You know, I'm sure there's certain things that I'm right about, and there's certain things that I'm wrong about, and the same goes for you.
What I'm getting mad about and aggravated about is the fact that they're always trying to play the race card on this shit when they know it's not got anything to do with race, man. It's just them trying to get their way. Those people that's playing the race card can't handle the truth that they're just not that good. You're just not that good, man. It's just not. You know? It's just like an NFL owner. If everybody could be an NFL owner, they would be. But not everybody's good enough to be an NFL owner, and everybody has the business sense to be one and draft the right players. So, just saying.
But you know what? Everybody sure thinks they do. We like you too, Warren. That's the whole point.
We like you, man. You get us riled up a little bit, but we get you riled up back. Nobody's immune to having their cage rattled. I've had mine rattled quite a few times. Especially about the guy in the red hat on here. He can be an asshole.
First of all, if we ain't having fun, then what in the hell are we doing? What are we doing up here?
It gets a lot. It's gotten a lot more entertaining than this, I can assure you. So if you don't mind, hit the subscribe button. Come on the show. Be on the show, man. You know, we won't grill you too hard, and hopefully you won't grill us too hard.
Well, I was just about to say, the same goes for him. I mean, he gets to grill us back.
That's right. That's why I got a grill in the background.
It's equal opportunity grilling.
That's right. Grill me. I like it.
Man, maybe, just maybe, you might convince me that I'm wrong about something.
I think it was you that said just the mere fact that they named that kid Madden speaks volumes of their parents, man.
Well, seriously,
they were probably playing Madden on the damn PlayStation.
That's my point.
I'm gonna name my son after PlayStation game.
It's like, dude, it's like when I first moved to Austin back in 2000. That was when the jam band craze was just at its peak. You know, the Fish and the String Cheese and Widespread Panic and all that shit was everywhere. You know, and God, I just lost my train of thought. I don't remember why I was going.
Well, that brings me to something I was going to say. USC, the Skittle Shitters. By the way, since Jamal, Ernest, and Major Warren, and some of y'all are new in here, you'll hear me say Skittle Shitters quite a bit, and we're referring to USC. But I heard that they had backed out of some more games or something. Did you hear about that? I think I'd maybe drop some more SEC games.
I'll tell you this. I've heard a few people talking about how they think that USC almost has no chance of being good this year. I'm gonna laugh, dude. If they actually get a little worse, I'm just gonna. Is there anything more fitting?
Now, who's gonna be worse in that town? USC or UCLA?
Yeah.
So do you think after this year, do you think if Lincoln Riley No, you can tell them about the acronym for him if you want. TBOW. TBOW.
That bitch out west.
Yeah, that's Lincoln Riley. If Lincoln Riley goes, I don't know, 8-5 this year, you think that he will finally get the axe? You think the Skittle shitters will get rid of him?
I
Maybe
don't know. I just don't know what their appetite for buyouts is. You know, I don't have a feel for that. So I think his buyout would still be. It would be half of it, right? Because that would be his 5th year. Hasn't he been there 4 years? No, 3 years. So this would be his 4th year. So they would still. He'd be 60% of his contract would still be due. So I just don't know what USC.
The buyout's coming down next year.
It
right?
is. I mean, it comes down every year, I would imagine. So yeah, that's right, Stack. But that's not saying much.
Do the Skittle shitters? Do they have the money to get rid of them? That's my question. I mean, do they? I mean,
they should. They got. I mean, I think they have a ton of money at USC, but I just don't know that they think sports is worthy of that money. You know, out there on the West Coast, I mean, just look at every other you see how they treat sports out there, man. They're good when they're winning, but they don't love sports. They don't value sports like we do.
They had a half-full stadium for their first Big Ten game against Penn State. I mean, their stadium was barely close to capacity. I think they had 50 or 60,000 in an 80,000 seat stadium. It was a little bit more than halfway full. But Big Stack Kelly said something off to the side here. He said that my next grandson needs to be named Doc or Wyatt. Guess from the movie Tombstone, right? So just for Big Stack Kelly, I'm going to play something real quick.
You tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
I love that shit, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I love Tombstone. I love me some Tombstone.
Tombstone was a great movie. Val Kilmer steals the show, obviously, as Doc Holliday.
Man, I hate that, man. I hate he passed away, man. That's awful. He wasn't that old either, was he? He was like 63, 64, 65.
Yeah, he was pretty young, man. He was pretty young. He's not a whole lot older than me, dude. That's a scary thing. I mean, hell, I'll be 52 in a couple of months, which is I don't know how the hell that happened.
Do you know old Bill Paxton, guy from Weird Science and the Twister movie? He passed on at an early age. I think he's like 61.
Yeah,
Good actors, and he was in Tombstone.
But I think
people forget that Bill Paxton was in Tombstone.
Yeah, he was the younger brother.
Mm-hmm. Tombstone dropping like flies, ain't he?
Well, I think his death though was unexpected, you know, and so sudden, whereas Val had been sick for a while.
But it's like a rare condition or something. It's just like John Ritter, you know, Three's Company, man. He had some kind of
that was crazy. Some
kind of crazy aorta infection or some kind of valve infection that's very rare and just killed him.
Yeah, that was nuts.
I love me some Three's Company now.
That show still holds up, man.
I know. Hey, it holds up to this day, man. I still want to run in the bathroom and take care of business after I watch the intro of Chrissy coming out in them shorty shorts.
Well, that's the thing, dude. Especially the early episodes, man, with Suzanne Summers. Like, phew, man, she is so hot. I mean, goddamn. Yeah. But John Ritter is funny, dude. He's
as the show progressed, you sort of realize it.
You know, it's goofy humor, it's slapstick humor, but it's like physical, you know, comedy.
Well, as the show progressed, though, you got to realizing that Janet actually had a better ass than Chris.
Janet was pretty cute, you know. I mean, they did a good job of keeping good-looking girls on the show. You know what I mean? And like I said, man, I saw episodes not that long ago, I have a channel on my TV service that plays all the old shows 24/7, so I can go watch it whenever I want. And every once in a while, I'll go click on it and just see if it'll make me laugh, and it makes me laugh every time.
That's right. Commish says, now we're talking sports. I don't know. We sometimes we just get off on a tangent, man. If you got something that you want to,
we can go back. We can go.
Then come on here. You told Major Warren to come up in here. You bring your ass up in here.
We can talk about the Outlaws' favorite topic to talk about. KOTS. Killer and Outlaw talking softball. We can talk a little Oklahoma softball. Do you want to talk about?
Hey, Alabama, man, 2 out of 3. Roll Tide.
That is true, but if you will look at the current rankings, you will see sitting at the top of the SEC conference play as well as the NCAA rankings, the Softball USA or USA Softball. Just swept Texas at home. How sweet is that? Texas, by the way, I got a good stat for you. The Texas Longhorn softball team has not won a game in Norman, Oklahoma since 2014. They haven't won since 2014, dude, in Norman. That's hilarious to me.
Everyone wants to know if he can call in. Usually we try to get to know people in the comment section a little better before we let them up here on the show. But if you want to come up in here, I guess we'll let Killer Breeze make the call on that because he's the one that's been taking most of the heat tonight.
I'm down.
I put a link in there, L. Right here it is.
Here's the thing, L. You could get gonged right off the show. I'm not even going to front. If you are bombing tonight, the Outlaw is just going to cut you off. There was no bad internet. There was nothing like that. He gonged you off the show.
I messed up right there.
Do we agree to that?
Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to say. If you get in here and you start going off and acting spastic, I'm just going to pull the plug.
We need to get a gong.
Yeah, get that gong show.
We need to get a gong. Let me see if I can find a gong sound.
I think I got one in here. Let me go get it real quick. We keep them busy.
Hold on.
There's the link right there. Everybody in the chat, I just put the link in there. If you can click on that, if you want to be in the show, I'll be right back. By the way, you see my shirt? Look at my shirt. See my shirt? Just another sexy ass ball guy.
Can you hear that? Can you hear that gong? But other than that, L, as long as you ain't got no problem with the conditions, I just figured I'd tell you up front instead of having it just, all of a sudden you ain't on no more and you're wondering what just happened. Like, at least you know now ahead of time. You come join the party. You see where the link is. Sean James is back. Patricia Barnes was great. I Dream of Jeannie. All right. So let's talk about I Dream of Jeannie. That's fair.
Hey, look here. I was watching old series.
Dressed up like a genie is like low-key soft porn back in the day. Back in the day, you could argue that was low-key soft porn to have Barbara Eden on good old in American Living Room in 1960, whatever 3 it was, or whatever, 65. When was that show? Somebody look it up. Was that or was that like late 60s when she was on there in a straight up? I mean, wasn't it a bikini? Essentially, she was definitely showing her top. It was basically like she was in a bra.
I was watching an old soap opera series with my wife the other night called Dallas. And I was watching it, man. I always heard that Victoria Principal was real hot, man. And then I saw Sue Ellen. While Sue Ellen's face wasn't as pretty, man, Sue Ellen actually had a rocking body. But damn, Sue Ellen was hot.
I like Sue Ellen.
JR messed up, didn't he?
I like Sue Ellen.
Da, 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 da,
That when I hear that theme song, that's one of those things that immediately takes me back to being a kid, because that was just on in so many households throughout my childhood. Everybody watched Dallas.
This conversation would have been a lot better if I had put these Dion Sanders shades on. I could hide through the bullshit. See it? I forgot to do that for Major Warren. He probably done left. I got my Dion Sanders glasses on. I can hide my beady eyes when I'm lying like he does.
Well, again, man, we're going to call it like we see it. And that's the way that it is.
Yeah, Priscilla Presley was on Dallas for a while, wasn't she?
Yeah. That is correct.
Yeah, they 70s and 80s, man, they were ahead of the curve. A lot of those sitcoms, man, and they start coming in and bitching and whining and complaining. Now we got what we got today.
Was that Priscilla Presley was on Dallas? I don't think that's right. Is that right?
I don't know. I can't remember. I thought it was Victoria Principal.
It was.
And the one that played Sue Ellen, I'm trying to remember her name. I can't remember her name, but she was hot too. And then they had Cheryl Ladd on there as well. She was a niece.
Is the chick that played Sue Ellen the same woman that played on Heart to Heart?
No, that was I know you're talking about. She's hot too.
You know what I'm talking about?
Smoking ass hot, by the way.
What was the guy's name in Heart to Heart? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Heart to Heart was good too back in the day.
Now I'm trying to remember, man. I can't remember. I can look it up.
Hold on, I got it right here. Robert Wagner. It was Stephanie Powers.
Stephanie Powers, that's it. Golly. Man, some things on that boy were awesome, man.
Yeah, but hold on a second, because let me see. I'm looking up her filmography. Let's take a look at it.
And we forgot Daisy Duke.
What did we forget about Daisy Duke?
He said we ain't mentioned Daisy Duke yet.
Well,
you remember them twins? You remember them blonde twins on BJ and the Bear?
Yeah.
They were hot too. I used to like BJ and the Bear.
They had hot girl in everything back then, dude. That's what it was all about. Like
BJ and the Bear wasn't real realistic though, man. I remember I watched a pilot episode on YouTube, and she asked him why he named his monkey Bear. And he said he named it after the best college football coach of all time, talking about Bear Bryant.
Yeah.
And he's from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Ain't no way some mug from Milwaukee, Wisconsin is going to name his damn monkey Bear after Bear Bryant. I always wondered.
I feel like I remember that.
When Bear was a bad monkey, did BJ spank his monkey?
I don't know, man. He probably just talked to it, didn't play with it.
All on that cab in that damn truck all the time, man. I don't know. That monkey, man.
That's funny.
That's a good theme song, too. I used to like listening. I like a lot of theme songs, man.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Daisy from Dukes of Hazzard was solid. She was real solid.
Rick Birdwell said his wife had the hots for Christy McNichol. She's a full-blown lesbian. Well, she hates me now. I forgot about
McNichol was like cute for like a hot second back in like the fucking early 80s. and that was it.
You're like, Jodie Foster used to be hot, and then she just turned all dykey. She went full blown dykey.
Yeah, see, there's something about Jodie Foster was cute back in the day too. I like Jodie Foster a lot. Heather Locklear, oh man, Heather Locklear was something special when she was young.
What was that chick's name on the Fall Guy? That blonde-headed chick on the
Heather
Fall Guy?
Thomas.
Huh?
Heather Thomas.
Yeah, I was watching some Fall Guy the other night, man. I watch some of that stuff now. I'm like, man, this shit's so cheesy, man. It's so badly written and cheesy, man. You're like, how did I like this shit? It's like, it's so cheesy, man.
The theme song starts off with them snapping their fingers.
Yeah, that theme song's on point. I love that shit.
Yeah, that's good.
He actually sings it himself.
Well, I'm the unknown stuntman that makes Elwood look so fine.
All right, brother. I'm fixing to get up off here, I guess.
Yeah, man. I had fun tonight. Peace to everybody. I hope everybody has a great night. And I'm sure we'll see everybody again soon. Take it easy, man.
All right, brother. Just holler at me when you think
I will.
We'll get on here and we'll sure enough do it.
All right, man. Later.
All right, later. That was Killer Breeze, the consummate Oklahoma roughneck in the house. Now, like I said earlier, if any of y'all want to have your comments read out before I go, and I can't see them all, you can click on the little money dollar sign at the bottom and make a little small donation to the show. It'll push it to the top and highlight it, and I'll answer out any of your questions on here. And in the future, if you want to be on the show, I will continually, periodically link it, the StreamYard link in there, and you can come in here and be on the show. If you start acting like a spastic, like Killer Breeze said, we will gong you, though. It's freedom of speech to a certain degree. I can't have you getting me kicked off of YouTube kind of deal. But, yeah, folks are going nuts about Sanders. We just discussed that ad nauseum, numbskull. You can go back and watch. There were some pretty interesting moments. Some couple of guys got in here that really didn't appreciate how we were treating poor old Shedeur Sanders and his daddy con time, Dion Sanders. You can go back and watch this. This live stream will go to podcast after we get off of here. Also, you can join the Outlaw Posse like Fred Bagley and Big Stack Kelly and Sean James. They have their badges. They're deputized. You get a badge, you get deputized. Get a random Four Horsemen shout out on the actual podcast, as well as possibly the comment of the day. It's just $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. It's a little join button over by the subscribe button. But if you can't do any of that, just do the big four. They're all absolutely free. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe. That's what keeps the lights on. With that, I'm out of here. KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.